Rita, thank you. Good evening and welcome to Look North. Our top story tonight. The man stuck in hospital for 3 months because he needs a wheelchair that won't fit his house.
I'm just getting totally numb. I've been crying all the night. I'm just missing my family that much.
We'll be asking how often delayed discharges such as this happen and what can be done to speed up the process. Also tonight, tributes have been paid to a 16-year-old boy who died after being stabbed in the neck in Huddersfield. Turning footy fans into lifesavers, the groundbreaking project to teach people CPR. Egging on the visitors, the Yorkshire town putting on a treasure hunt to help local businesses.
And the question that everybody's asking me at the moment, just how long will this glorious weather last? Well, join me at the end of the programme for that detailed week ahead forecast.
Hello, thank you for watching this Monday evening. First tonight, a man who had his leg amputated following a sepsis infection says it's soul-destroying. He's in hospital because no suitable housing can be found. David Taylor from Nottingley in West Yorkshire has been ready for discharge from Pontefract Hospital since the middle of January, but can't return home because his wheelchair won't fit in the house. The 56-year-old says he's applied for at least 12 new properties through the local housing association, but so far hasn't been successful. Vico Homes, which was formerly known as Wakefield District Housing, says it's supporting the family to find a home as quickly as possible. Our health correspondent, Jamie Coulson, takes up the story.
I've been in hospital now 20 weeks. It's absolutely soul-destroying when I should be at home with my wife and family.
David Taylor and his wife Kerry say the last 5 months have been a nightmare. In November, David caught a chest infection that developed into sepsis. The 56-year-old was rushed into Pinderfields Hospital where his life was saved, but he ended up having part of his left leg amputated.
Sounds really bad, but to have lost his leg is better to have than lost David, really. But it did come to the fact that we nearly did lose David. Literally, within a 5-hour period of that operation, me and his mum just didn't know if he was coming back or not.
A month later, David was moved to Pontefract Hospital where he continued his recovery. He's now been ready for discharge since the middle of January, but is unable to go home.
Yeah, the problem is David can't get through the front door with his wheelchair. It's too small, it's only 39 inches. Same problem as we go through to the hallway.
The couple have been told their home is no longer suitable. They've been making weekly applications for a new property through Vico Homes, which was formerly known as Wakefield District Housing, but have had no success. David was offered a place in respite accommodation, but says what he needs is to live independently with his wife. He's recorded his own thoughts about the delay.
I'm just getting totally numb. I've been crying all the night. I'm just missing my family that much.
It's just stupid and a complete waste of NHS money as far as I can see. He's sat in a room on his own 24/7, costing God knows what, and they can't help us get a flat or a bungalow.
Vico Homes says its hospital-based housing team is supporting Mr Taylor and his family to find a suitable home as quickly as possible, either with them or another provider.
What I want to happen is to get out of here, have mine and Kerry's forever home and enjoy the rest of my life, even though I have had to have a leg amputated.
The couple say they are desperate to move, but all they can do for now is wait. Jamie Coulson, BBC Look North.
Well, a little earlier on, I spoke to Emma Dodsworth from the Nuffield Trust. I started by asking her how often do delayed discharges like this happen?
So we know that there are around 12,000 people who are medically fit to leave hospital but haven't yet been discharged. And it's not always as simple as them being discharged home. Sometimes they may require additional support in their own home, but also they may require a longer term placement in a care home. The impact on people's patients is significant, as David has obviously described. There's a real risk of infection and a lack of confidence that people will struggle with that's so important for when they're discharged post-hospital.
And whose responsibility ultimately is it to resolve these issues? Should it be down to the housing provider or the hospitals themselves?
I think it's really difficult to say. There's never really one single cause for the delay, and rarely is one person entirely responsible for the delay. We know that social care is the cause for many of the delays. People are really struggling to access the care that they need. They may be waiting for a care home to be made available, or the support that they need within their own home that requires staff, etc. That it has its own challenges. But we also know that hospitals are partly responsible for some of the delays, so around a fifth are due to hospital processes being slow. And
here's the million-dollar question, I suppose. What are, if there are, any solutions to these problems?
It's really difficult. I think there's no, it's such a complex issue that there will rarely be one simple solution. I think the government have made it a very clear aim of theirs to sort of shift resources from hospital to community as part of their big 3 shifts. And if they do that successfully, then you would see a reduction in delayed discharges. But this long-term NHS health plan that's coming our way has got no specific reform for social care, which it desperately needs. So it begs the question of how successful will the shift be if it's not matched with clear policy. So, yeah, I think social care reform has to be on the top agenda if you really want to see a reduction in delayed discharges.
OK, we'll have to wait and watch. Emma, thank you so much for your time today. Next tonight, flowers and messages have been left at the place where a 16-year-old boy died after being stabbed in the neck in Huddersfield. Ahmad Mamdouh Al-Ibrahim died in hospital after being attacked in Ramsden Street last Thursday. 20-year-old Alfie Franco from Kirkburton has been charged with the teenager's murder and possessing a knife in a public place. Olivia Richwald is at the scene for us now. Olivia, what more can you tell us?
Well, this is Ramsden Street, where many flowers and messages have been left. Many by people who are shocked and saddened that a 16-year-old boy could have been stabbed and killed in the middle of Huddersfield town centre in the middle of the day. He has been named as Ahmad Mamdouh Al-Ibrahim, who had only just moved to Huddersfield from South Wales. And a local charity has told the BBC that Ahmad was a Syrian refugee and they had been due to deliver furniture to him today. But he was stabbed in the neck and he died on Thursday in hospital. Ahmad might not have been very well known here in Huddersfield, but if you read these messages, you can see how deeply upset his death has left this Huddersfield community.
Definitely feel more paranoid around this area because I was just around that corner when it happened, and I saw him lying in this spot, so it was quite traumatizing for me.
It's not far from the police stations. Look at this. It's about a few meters.
It's terrible for the town, and it makes people frightened.
That shouldn't happen to anyone. It could have happened to me. It could have happened to my little sister. It could, that's just scary.
Well, some of those who came to leave messages today actually witnessed the scene and the aftermath and have described horrible scenes. Others have simply come to leave messages of sympathy to Ahmad's family. The town centre, meanwhile, has returned to somewhat normal. In fact, there was a children's carousel just operating over there all afternoon here in Huddersfield. But it has left people here feeling scared. 20-year-old Alfie Franco from Kirkburton has appeared at court, charged with Ahmad's murder and possessing a knife in a public place, and he is due to appear at Leeds Crown Court tomorrow. Back to you. OK,
Olivia, thank you very much. Olivia Richwald there reporting live in Huddersfield. Now, with local elections taking place next month, we're hearing from the different party leaders as they visit our region on the campaign trail. 10 days ago, you may remember we spoke to the Prime Minister and leader of the Labour Party, Sir Keir Starmer. And today, Nigel Farage, leader of Reform, has been in South Yorkshire, as Tom Ingle now reports.
Reform chose a country hotel south of Doncaster for their leader's visit to Yorkshire. Long before he arrived, there was a buzz in the room. He was flanked by the party's candidate for Mayor of Doncaster, Alexander Jones, and former owner of Doncaster Rovers, John Ryan, But this was very much the Nigel Farage show.
Big political change is coming to the north of England. It is happening. And it's certainly happening here in Doncaster, where the political map is going to be completely reshaped on May the 1st.
The theme was change.
What we want to do, of course, is to bring an entrepreneurial spirit and flair to this city. It was very interesting. And we'll talk about John Ryan in a moment, but John Ryan saying, you know, when he set up his businesses, Doncaster was not a welcoming place. That doesn't make sense. That's the culture that we want to change. Here 2 weeks ago, just going around talking to people, maybe older people in their 60s, 70s, who say we're really quite worried about being around the town centre, not just at night, but in the day as well. I mean, that's a terrible situation.
But you wouldn't be able to change the fact that retail is changing and people are leaving the high street.
Oh, no, look, retail is fundamentally changing. Of that, there is no doubt at all. But you will see in other parts of the country where town centres suddenly become places that get developed, where people start to live, and when people start to live in town centres, suddenly different little shops appear. I think, you know, rethinking town planning is very, very important.
This was a lightning campaign stop, lasting around 40 minutes. There was still time to meet, greet and selfie with the faithful as Reform Eye building on their general election success of last year. With the Prime Minister last week and Nigel Farage this week, we will keep up with all the leaders as they crisscross our part of the world asking for your vote. Tom Ingle, BBC Look North, Doncaster.
And you can find more information on local elections in your area and the candidates standing in the Doncaster mayoral elections on the BBC website. And as Tom mentioned there, we'll be speaking to all of the party leaders as they come to our part of the world. OK, let's get some news in brief now. A woman's body's been found on a street in Leeds and police are treating it as unexplained. Officers were called to Darkwood Close in Shadwell just after midnight yesterday morning. The woman has been identified as a local lady aged in her 50s. Inquiries are continuing to work out what happened. A man from West Yorkshire who plotted to set up an extremist training camp will be allowed to move home after his release from prison, despite experts saying he remains a risk to national security. Haroon Aswat from Batley was jailed for 20 years in 2015 after he admitted conspiring to set up the camp in the US. The 50-year-old was deported to the UK in 2022 and detained under the Mental Health Act. A judge has now approved a notification order, meaning authorities should be kept up to date with details such as his address. A man's been jailed for his part in the widespread disorder on the streets of Leeds last summer. 59-year-old Robert Lockwood from Gipton admitted fueling a fire in the street in Hare Hills on July the 18th last year. Lockwood had denied arson but changed his plea to guilty at a hearing in February. At Leeds Crown Court today, he was sentenced to 8 months in prison. A Ferris wheel in Ripon has closed after its generator caught fire just 2 days after opening to visitors. North Yorkshire Fire and Rescue Service were called to the incident at Ripon's Market Square earlier this afternoon. Visit Ripon say the wheel will reopen tomorrow and no cause for the fire has yet been identified. Now, the nuclear war film Threads, which is set in Sheffield, is to be remade as a series by the production company behind the hit television show Adolescence. Warp Films, also based in the city, is to develop a series based on the 1980s post-apocalyptic thriller. The BBC production has gathered a cult following for its bleak storyline, focusing on a nuclear bomb being dropped on South Yorkshire.
Detention camps are
OK, time to turn to the sports action now. Quite a bit of going on in the football world, as Mark can now explain. Mark.
Thanks, Phil. Yes, we're going to start with Sheffield Wednesday, who have confirmed that the club's players and staff have now received their wages for March. The Owls went down 1-0 at home to Hull on Saturday at Hillsborough, conceding in added-on time. Salaries were supposed to be paid to players last week, with the club saying it was a temporary issue due to debts owed to owner Dapon Chansiri. The club has thanked everyone for their patience and understanding. Wednesday manager Danny Röhrl has been linked with a move to relegated Premier League side Southampton, who have sacked their manager. Röhrl spoke to BBC Radio Sheffield after the Hull defeat.
A lot of players, they take all the setbacks, go again and again and again, and that makes me very proud. I will never forget these players in my life this time here. And I think this is for me the most important key today, not the result, it's about the character of this group.
Now this is a great stat. For the first time in 17 years, Bradford City are top of the league. Doncaster Rovers also tasted victory and are hoping for promotion from League 2 too. There were also wins for Rotherham United and Huddersfield Town. Here's Johnny Reid with the roundup.
We start with Bradford City, who stormed to the top of League 2 with a 2-0 win over Crewe. It was this 12-second opening goal from Bobby Poynton that put the Bantams ahead. A final strike from Callum Kavanagh bookended a successful game for City, who will lead Port Vale in the league. Hot on Bradford's heels, Doncaster Rovers secured a vital 3 points, beating Cheltenham 2-0. Jamie Sterry's second-half strike got the ball rolling. A stoppage-time goal from Rob Street helps keep the Rovers in 4th place and title contention. In League 1, Huddersfield Town beat Mansfield 2-1. After a goalless first half, Ruben Ruskin's 69th minute goal was welcomed by fans, as was Ben Wiles's winner towards the end of the game. The Terriers now sit 8th in the league.
And Rotherham United secured a 2-1 victory over Blackpool. It was all thanks to this opening goal from Hakeem Adoffin. A successful late strike from Joe Rafferty ensured victory for the Millers, who sit 14th in the league. Johnny Reid, BBC Look North.
Now, football fans are being encouraged to take part in free online CPR classes to improve the survival rate of people who have cardiac arrests. Leeds United fan Connor Houghton lost his dad 6 years ago, and he's now backing a campaign with former Leeds player Stuart Dallas to teach fans the life-saving skill. They've been speaking to Ollie Constable.
It was a Saturday morning. My mum was shrieking at me to get up and to come down and help, and I got down and he was sat at the end of the table in the dining room and he was just slumped over in the chair, and I wasn't fully trained in CPR at the time, so I was able to act, but I wasn't really 100% sure what I was doing, so I just grabbed him out of the chair and put him on the floor in the right position and tried to administer CPR as best I could. And the paramedics arrived, they moved us out of the room and informed us that Dad had passed away. So it was, real, life-changing event. It was really, really tough, but we tried our best we could to save him with what we knew.
When Connor lost his dad, aged just 24, following a cardiac arrest, he said it turned his world upside down. But determined to do something good, he's now backing a campaign to train up more than 270,000 football fans to learn CPR.
It's 15 minutes to try and save one of the 30,000 people every year who find themselves in a out-of-hospital cardiac arrest.
1, 2, 3, 4.
That 15 minutes he's talking about is some training delivered by the British Heart Foundation.
We're going at about 100 to 120 beats per minute. That's the tempo of Staying Alive, Nelly the Elephant or Pink Pony Club.
It's done using a free online course called Reviver, giving people the confidence to attempt resuscitation.
Don't stop until help arrive and they take over or they physically push you off the chest, because it's really important that that CPR is uninterrupted.
Connor is a lifelong Leeds United fan and has been joined by former Leeds player Stuart Dallas to encourage fans to get involved.
I lost my mum at a young age, when I was 10, to a heart attack. My granda suffered heart attacks and cardiac arrests as well. You just never know when you could need it. It could be, it could be a loved one that you're at home with. It could be, your friend that you're out with. It could be a football fan you're sat beside, a complete stranger at the weekend. For 15 minutes at a time, you could potentially save somebody's life.
There's been a nationwide relay taking in clubs from across the Football League to get as many fans as possible trained up. It's not about making people experts, but giving them the skills to try to help.
It's to try and push them to become lifesavers, to just have that life-saving skill if they need to have it. God forbid that they don't, but it's just in case they do need it, that they can work the best that they can.
Ollie Constable, BBC Look North, in Leeds.
Ice hockey now, and the Sheffield Steelers narrowly missed out on winning the Elite League title. On Saturday, the Steelers came from behind to beat the Cardiff Devils 3-2 in a shootout at Sheffield Arena, but then lost away at Coventry Blaze last night. Belfast Giants won the title. In the two-legged playoff quarter-final, the Steelers face the Glasgow Clan.
It's going to sting for a little while. There's no doubt about it. It's because everyone in that room cares. You can see it'll probably be a little bit of a light and somber skate on Wednesday when we get the guys back in. But I firmly believe by Friday, Saturday, we'll be mentally ready to go.
Good luck to the Steelers. They've got Glasgow Clan away in the first leg on Friday night and at home at Sheffield Arena, Phil, on Sunday night.
Yeah, shame for the Steelers, Mark, but that stat from Bradford City, that kind of gladdens the heart, does it not?
It certainly does. Top of the league for the first time since 2008.
Yeah, I've always thought, though, Bradford really better than a League Two club, aren't they?
Too right. They've got a huge fan base, and they've got Swindon next away, and they could go further clear, you never know. And they've got, crucially, they've got that goal difference better than Walsall as well.
Yeah, we'll keep our fingers crossed for promotion for Bradford City. Now, if you're looking for some holiday fun and a freebie to boot, 40 shops and businesses in the West Yorkshire town of Holmfirth have clubbed together to put on a treasure hunt involving some special Easter eggs. It all began on Saturday, and as Kathy Killick now reports, it's proving a cracking idea.
These are, as you can see, no ordinary eggs. They're the secret to a cunning plan. Etched with the names of shops and businesses in Holmfirth, they're being hidden around the town. Find one, take it to the business and claim your prize. It's the idea of Nicola Radcliffe, who already had the machine for her personalised toy business and wanted to give her hometown a boost.
The main aim was to promote our beautiful town and the amazing businesses that we have in this town. Obviously, the start of the year, it's always a tough start, it's always quiet, and the economy and everything else that goes with it. And I just thought, what is a great idea for some family fun and to get people into the businesses and seeing what our beautiful town has to offer.
So, here we are, Holmfirth, over 1,000 eggs to find. I'm on the hunt. Full disclosure, I have been given a clue that there are some around here. It's just a case of looking. There's even a golden egg or two for an extra special prize, and as well as hiding in the town, they're in the outlying villages too, so everyone's in with a chance. Seen one. My prize is waiting, but where? Great. Next stop. Seems so easy. It's a boutique in the town centre.
I found an egg. Oh, brilliant. Would you like to choose one of our prizes? It's not only fun for children and adults, but it just gets everybody out exploring as well and looking at what we've all got to offer in Holmfirth. The lady that came in yesterday, she said that she'd lived in Holmfirth for over 12 months now, but she'd never even known we were here. So she came in and then took a business card and said that she'd be back. So, yeah, hopefully it'll all help.
I'm not the only one who's had fun. Albie, Archie and Millie got lucky in Homebridge yesterday.
Have you found an egg? Well done.
We've just loved it. It's been such a laugh. It's the Easter holidays, kids nowadays just want to be at home, on the phone and iPads. But with this, it's been brilliant. We've been able to get out in the fresh air. We've seen so many adults and children having such a good time.
With more businesses wanting to join in, plans to expand the hunt are already on the cards. And if you think there won't be any eggs left, fear not. As they're returned to shops, they're re-hidden. So somewhere, until Easter, there'll always be one to find. Kathy Killick, BBC Look North, Holmfirth.
Yeah, wonderful day in Holmfirth. And when this good weather started, Paul, I never expected it to last for the school holidays, because normally it goes off when the kids break up, doesn't it?
Well, it does. I mean, this dry spell's gone on for a long time. If you think back, you remember the coronavirus pandemic in 2020? We had similar clear blue skies. So it's quite unusual from this point of view that often you get a lot of cloud trapped underneath this area of high pressure. But a lot of people have asked me, can I explain this weather with the jet stream? And it's actually really quite interesting. I've got a graphic to show you now, and this graphic will show you where the jet stream normally is at this time of the year. It's a ribbon of fast-moving winds that would be bringing wind and rain across much of the UK. But it's actually pushed to the north of us this week. Part of it has been across Spain and Portugal, bringing them poor weather in March. But that's what's happened now, and to the south of that, we've got an area of high pressure. Your favourite term, it's an omega block. Yeah. It means it's stuck there for a long period of time. Now, there is, as we mentioned on Thursday, remember we talked about the wildfires, there is a growing body of evidence to suggest that global warming is having an impact on the jet stream. The jet stream is a contrast between the cold across the Arctic and the warm across the subtropics. And the Arctic is warming 3 times faster than anywhere else on Earth. And so that temperature contrast, which is the jet stream, is weakening on average. And what we're finding is that the jet stream keeps getting stuck. It should be blasting across us, but it keeps getting stuck, meandering across the Atlantic. And so that's why we're beginning to find longer periods of dry weather, which we've got at the moment, but the flip side of it is if you're on the wrong side of the jet stream, longer periods of wet weather, which has led to increased flooding.
I suppose there's one thing people may be interested in. Can we infer anything about the rest of the summer from what we're getting now?
Well, it's really interesting. There are not many connections within the climate record, so a dry March, you can't draw any conclusions with summer. I have to say, though, there is a little bit of a connection. Philip Eden, one of the UK's leading climatologists, found this connection between a warm and sunny April and a poor, unsettled summer. 2007 was the warmest and sunniest April on record, and we had the floods in June 2007. So it's not a done deal, but that connection is there. So we could almost say we could do without the rest of April being warm and sunny. That's right, that's right. Anyway, if you've got any questions you'd like me to answer on this particular slot, we've got the technologies there, we've got the QR code, you can ring us on that telephone number. What more do you want? And we'll try and look in detail to the questions you've got about weather and climate. A couple of questions, a couple of pictures I should say to show you. This was taken first thing this morning. You can see there was some fog in the valley bottoms taken from Home Valley. There's some there in the valley bottom there, and right over there towards Emley Transmitter. And I like this one. This was yesterday in York. I bet they were enjoying those beers. It's nice to see, actually, people sat out and not sat in
the floods.
3 feet of water. So that's a good advert. The King's Arms always gets a bad press with floods, but it was packed this weekend. Those are the addresses on your screen if you want to send some pictures in. So another fine week. It's dry and sunny again tomorrow, but the jet stream is on the move. It's going to force this high pressure slowly to the south of us. So there might be a bit more cloud on Wednesday, but by Thursday we've got a westerly. And that means coastal areas could see temperatures doubling up to 20 or 21 degrees Celsius. There's the satellite picture. Not much to show there, and there's not much to talk about this evening and overnight, so I'll flip to the end of the sequence. A widespread frost. Don't be putting your bedding plants out just yet. Your coastal waters, high water times, 2:15 in Scarborough. Tomorrow, dry and sunny. More details at 10:30.
Long way to continue. Yeah, Paul and I will be back with the late bulletin if you care to join us then. But from the whole of the production team, do enjoy the rest of your Monday evening, and we'll see you at 10:30. Good night.